Hello, welcome to this new watercolor class. And today I'm going to demonstrate a decade ago when I started watercolor painting. It was very painful phase because I had no idea of how we are going to apply the shades, the watercolor shades in my painting. A decade ago when I was started, I had a certain amount of understanding. Okay, I'm going to this. But when I started going to work on this, I had a lot of issue, and the frustration was in that level. I thought I will quit my watercolor journey right there itself when I was started. And I really don't want you to do this. I want you to understand this, and I want to bring that my experience, how I've just overcome that. If I would have this kind of understanding a decade ago, I would have progressed so faster in that point of time. But nevertheless, this is the phase of learning, and I just wanted to bring in here. So let's go ahead uh, with this painting. So we have here the BS means Bunsiana, yellow ochre, and ultramarine blue. So this is the color I wanted to apply here as part of the coloring phase of it, right? So let me first bring the Bunsiana, this pigmentation. I just wanted to bring this. Let's say we just wanted to use this Bunsiana here, and these are the pigments. Let's say I want to use it. I've just taken a water here, and now these are the pigments. This is the very basic understanding we we see everywhere, right? This is the various pigment of this, various hue of this particular color. Now let's take the same thing here for yellow ochre. Let's say we have this, and then we are just going all the way here, lighter version of this entire thing, right? And it goes all the way, just mixing with the white. Now take this ultramarine blue. So this is the shade, right? Let's make this a little more darker here for better understanding. Okay, and here also, all the place, and same thing here as well. Right. Now, imagine that we have all these three color which we wanted to apply here in this. Now, the problem here I see many times, especially in the beginners, and even when I've started, what I was doing here is, let's bring that up now. So now just imagine that I've just take this Bunsiana. I've just taken this Bunsiana, and I'll just apply here. Like this. Now we also had, when I looked at the painting, my reference image or whatever, I just wanted to use some this level of. Now see, I will use, maybe this would be much helpful. Okay, now imagine that I wanted to use this shade, so I will use this shade here, adding a little water. Okay, the same thing here when I'm just painting here. So I want to use this shade. of the lighter version of yellow ochre, because there is a light, there is a sunlight coming in here, and this is exactly I was just missing. What I was doing was I was just painting everything, all these blue shades. If I'm just taking this entire thing, I'll just paint everything here. That was the mistake. Now I'm just telling you how to avoid that, how you can just avoid that mistake. Now, since we have just done this here, now just take an example. This is a little far distance, right? So probably I'll just take this side. So I've just taken this side, and all I'm just doing here is I'm adding a little water into that, and mixing this on top. Now just keep saying this, how this entire seed is going to work. Now, since this side is, I wanted to have a little more darker. So again, I will go down here all the way, and I'll mix it all together here. I'll just mix it here, this thing. Now thing is like, I'm just going all the way little far distance from our eyes. So we wanted to use a little lighter shade of ultramarine blue. Let's take an example. I will take this. I've just taken this ultramarine blue. Let's say example, I'll just take this color. So I'll just use this here because it's very far, and I'll mix everything together. If you want, you can just mix it, this two, right? This two color, I've just mixed it here, and this. And now again, I want you to just give your complete attention how we are mixing here the color. So this dome, which is far away from our eyes, I've just used this shade of it, and I've just mixed this two shade. Now let's mix this two shade. I've just taken yellow ochre and a little bit of ultramarine blue, and maybe I don't want a greenish feel, so I'll just go ahead with this. Okay, now we are coming back to this. I will take this color and this color, I'll mix it here. Burnt sienna and a little bit of yellow. And I've mixed it all together here. I'll not take it much further into this. So till here it's fine. Now I'm just taking again, possibly this is the ground, so the light is coming from this side, so this will be a little lighter shade because there's a very prominent lighter shade of sun. There's a too much of sunlight here, so I've just use it, probably this shade. And now this particular structure which is behind this, we just wanted to make it a little off, but we don't want to use the similar color because it's not so far also, it's just close by. So what we'll do is we'll just, whatever the color I have taken, we'll take a little lighter color, possibly this one. So I'll just take this, I'll add a little water into it and made it like this. Okay. Now, this is your very first layer we have just made using this pigments. Okay. Now, what was the problem when I was doing this artwork a decade ago? So let's say if your painting was having burnt sienna, what I was doing is I was just taking the burnt sienna and I was just painting all over the place the burnt sienna, burnt sienna, burnt sienna everywhere, and that pigment also the same, the value, the softness of the color in a very easy language, the softness of this. Possibly, I was using this here and I was using this pigment here also, here also, here also, everywhere. Now, that was the biggest problem because it was looking very flat. It was not giving enough sense of understanding that how I can bring the depth into my artwork, and that was very frustrating. So now you understood how this entire thing works. Now even if it is you wanted to use some more color here, you can just analyze, okay, if the color is, it's all depends on how closer to your eyes. If the objects are closer to your eyes, that will definitely, it will be a little darker, and then it's going to be little more kind of a perspective approach. It will be darker and then it will be lighter, lighter, lighter. Now, there also you get an opportunity that okay, how to bring the soft edge and the light edge and contrast, depth, and everything. This is how basically the first layer is so important uh, in that perspective, right? I'll just show you one this artwork. This is used exactly the same principle here. You see here the burnt sienna, it gone here, it all everywhere, though it's a little bit of the flat because things are very much closer. These are like these structure is not very far from our eyes and all. So the colors and all everything remain same. This is done in my Patreon class. Even if you want to join my Patreon community, so please join my art community, watercolor art community on Patreon, and you can learn uh, this kind of a technique, in a almost like in a regular basis in my classroom. There's a lot of activities happen. There is a lot of enthusiasts who just make things more meaningful in their life, doing this kind of artwork, learning and bringing the real value into their life. So please check that my Patreon membership link I've given in the description, so you can check that out. But yeah, that will definitely takes your watercolor journey, your love to our watercolor journey to the next level. That's for sure. Okay, so let it dry. Okay, let it dry, and once this will get dry, we'll work on the second layer, and I'll tell you how further we can just use this these shades into your artwork. All right, so now you see this is dried, and this is the perfect time when we can go for our second layer that we call it glazing. Now, one thing I just wanted to bring in, a very important part here is, let's say we would need a further uh, depth and contrast into this, right? So let's make a plate for that. So now I'm using ultra burnt sienna, okay, this burnt sienna, and I'm adding a little bit of ultramarine blue. I'm just mixing this both color and making another. Now see, this one is basically the darker pigment when we just mix this two color, right? So this one is basically, you see, we just added this and this, and that becomes a darker version of this two color here. Okay, And now we also have to, and I'll tell you why we are doing this. Now let's take an example of this yellow ochre. So we have taken this yellow ochre and mixing with this two color, burnt sienna and yellow ochre. I'm just taking a little water, mixing them together, and we are making this color. So what we did is we just made this one adding this color and this color, right? This two color we have just made it here, and that makes it a darker pigment. It looks like a burnt sienna, but actually it is not. It is a darker pigment of your yellow ochre. Now we have this blue. So, if we wanted to use, let's say, what happens is this is the cool color, right? And this is the warm color. What happens, and this is where basically we see a lot of time that uh, our painting gets muddy. Now, see, I'm using this yellow ochre, which is a warm color, and I'm using blue color, ultramarine blue. And when I mix this, see what happens is, see, it's a beautiful color, but as a beginner, this is where things get messy. Okay, so this becomes a very darker and very muddy kind of, and if you're not able to maintain this, things will get really frustrating, I'm telling you. So don't use, I mean, until unless you have a certain amount of experience working with a watercolor, don't use warm color and the cool color together. Work with a warm color, warm color mixing with warm color, possibly the yellow ochre and a burnt sienna. So that gives you basically what I did here. And so this is how basically you can just see that your paintings are not getting muddy and things are very bright and clear. So that's the reason. So we have just made this two color palette here. I mean, so we just extended this, and these things we'll be using our further layering. Right now, I'm just going to work on this part. I'm just taking this yellow ochre, sorry, burnt sienna, and just adding a little bit of this two color, ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. This is exactly what we did here, and this is how we just wanted to go and put the color here on top. Now see, this is very dark, very darker. We don't want that. We wanted to have something like this, a little darker than this. Possibly you can have a little more pigments here. Now you see, like, the pigments started creating a new pigments here, right? Combination of this burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. You have a pigmentation here, and the lighter pigment, so and so forth, right? The same thing here also it goes, right? So what we'll do is we'll just stick with this. So I'm just taking the burnt sienna and adding a very little ultramarine blue, and this is, since we have this side is a darker pigment, so we'll use the darker shades here, like this. Wherever it is required, I'll be sticking with the same here. Very simple shades here. We just wanted to make make sure that it should capture the dimension of this. Now I'm using the same depth here. Possibly when I'm just going down here, I want to make things a little more darker. Okay, so I just made it a little more darker here, darker pigment. Very interesting depth here and there, and this is where things are coming out here. Now once we have done this, we have to also need to give a certain amount of pigments, like these kind of a pigments here on top, maybe this side, because the light is coming from, so we just wanted to have this as a prominent. And some lighter pigments, maybe this, maybe this. The moment you are adding a water, that becomes a lighter, and when you started adding a color, that becomes more darker. Now I'm in a way of making a little darker pigment. Now I'm just adding it, so I'm just going with this now. So I'm using ultramarine blue and burnt sienna together, make things a little more darker for these windows and all. So I just want to make things darker here. Okay, and we have here a little more dark here for the main entrance or whatever. Okay, so that's the this part of it. Now we also have the shade here, I mean the structure here, so we just wanted to make sure that we should capture this. So I'm just adding a little more, probably will stick with this. Some seeds here, and that merges here, everything here. Maybe some lighter and depth somewhere to make things a little more obvious and clear. And just merge it here, everything. All right, till here it's fine. Now let's work on the this side of thing. So possibly we will not go very darker because the light is coming from this side. So this is where your sun is, okay, and the light is very prominently, it is coming here this way. So we just wanted to, there is a certain amount of work, there are certain objects are there, like windows and things are there. So we just wanted to make sure that we wanted to bring. So I just wanted to bring this here, very lighter pigments, possibly somewhere here, adding this too. And now I'm making it things a little more darker now for the windows. I say, I hope you are able to see this. So I'm just make, and that's the ceiling. And some other values here and there, just wanted to bring in here. And this is again the, it's a kind of a dry approach. Maybe the entrance from this side and some other detailing here and there. Now you see here, I'm not adding any depth here. I'm not giving any I mean big bold patches here, strokes. I'm just trying to bring the variation with certain amount of depth, something from here, something from here, something from here. Things are a little away from our eyes, so we just wanted to make sure that things should be lighter when we are just going in that direction. Now, what about this? This is where things get really exciting. And if you are making any mistakes, then things will not work out. So what happens is, if there is a blue, right, there should be a complementary color. This is exactly the same color you have to put with a little darker version of it. Like, just imagine that you have just taken this seeds probably, or possibly this seed is here. Now, if I wanted to apply any shade here, so I need to go with the same color with a little darker pigment, right? Possibly if it is this, then uh, if this is the one we are talking about, okay? So if I wanted to make a little glazing, so I need to use possibly this or this for better glazing. I don't know if you have understood this. So yeah, that's exactly. So I'm just going to show you here how what I'm just talking about. So now here we have this. I'm using the same color. Don't use any other color. If it is a blue, don't use top of it the yellow occur or completely different color like red color or green color on top of it. If it is blue, then use the darker pigment of the same color. That's exactly, I'm just doing it here everywhere. So it becomes a harmony, and your painting looks much better, right? And here I'm just using, see, this is the blue and I'm using the darker, but this is what exactly I was talking about. And here just wanted to bring the whatever the architecture details and all, so we don't want to go that detail, but I just wanted to tell you that how it should be done. Now when I'm just going down, possibly I just wanted to make sure that there should be some brush strokes visible. Okay, here and there, just some strokes here and there to make things a little more interesting. Possibly these far away, there are quite a few people there, so I'm just making some human shapes here. Let's say they're here and the light is coming from this side, so obviously these shades will go this side. If you wanted to have some color differently, here is an opportunity, you can just do that. Okay, I see this, there are a few people here and I'm just making a little depth. Seeds here, seeds here. Okay, now I'm just making things a little more darker here in this area, and the shades are actually falling here because this is where the shade of this entire building goes, right? So this is where how things will look. This another building here, we're just putting, now see exactly the same thing I was talking about. I'm using the darker version, the darker pigment of the same color. I'm not using completely different. So some color here and there, and this is what we have. So now you understood how this entire thing is actually working out, right? How you are layering. This is important to understand how basically you are applying the certain amount of color shades in your artwork. If you are using these shades, how these shades are actually working out, how you can glaze it, how you can just dry it, and many more stuff I was just talking about. There are a lot more interesting elements which you can add in here, and definitely there's no end. There's a lot of learning here which you can improve upon. But these are the primary areas where I was lacking when I have started my watercolor a decade ago. I understood this over working over a certain period of time, and going through many of the learning phase. I understood this, but I'm just bring it for you to understand this. This is the very basic understanding I've just brought in here, and if you just apply this learning to your artwork, you see things are actually working out. Okay, these things are coming out well. Your watercolor is going way ahead. So I wish I had a certain amount of understanding when I was started my watercolor. But yeah, I mean, nevertheless, this is the artwork, my recent lesson. I just created for my Patreon members. They are learning, and if you wanted to learn watercolors, I would invite you to join me. This is the another work which has given a lot of understanding to my Patreon members, and they are absolutely amazing. I've seen the growth, and the people are whoever was a little afraid of applying the watercolor shades and many other areas where they were lacking. I see that people are progressing and they find a real value to their artwork. I'm sure that you will have a fantastic time joining my art community in Patreon. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope this has brought some clarity to your artwork. Apply this learning to your artwork and have a great day and have a great time with your watercolor.